Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we've got one of the most incredible energy transformations of the 21st century. It's a story of how a nation went from suffering the largest power outage in human history to becoming a global force in renewable energy. You're not going to want to miss this. So, to really get how far India has come, we've got to go back to a moment of absolute crisis. It's the summer of 2012. It's scorching hot, and then something just unimaginable happens. The lights went out. And we're not talking about a small outage here. The lights went out for 620 million people. Let that sink in for a second. That's almost a tenth of the entire world's population at the time, all plunged into darkness at once. The scale is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
Now, this catastrophic event, it wasn't some freak accident. Nope. It was a massive, blaring wake-up call. It totally exposed a power system that was dangerously fragile, plagued by states overdrawing power and facing these huge energy deficits of over 8%. The entire network was teetering on the brink of collapse.
The impact was just staggering. Traffic lights died, causing total chaos on the roads. Electric trains just ground to a halt. And in hospitals, critical life-saving operations were suddenly at risk. This was so much more than an inconvenience. It was a national emergency, and it became a pivotal turning point.
But here's the thing. That very crisis, it became the catalyst for one of the most remarkable energy turnarounds on the entire planet. Right out of the darkness of 2012, an incredibly ambitious green revolution was born.
Okay, so let's put some numbers on this. Back in March of 2014, India's total renewable energy capacity was sitting at about 76 gigawatts. Now, that's a respectable number for sure, but what happened next was truly extraordinary.
You fast forward to today, and that number has absolutely exploded. It's on track to blow past 220 gigawatts by early 2025. We're talking a nearly threefold increase in just over a decade. This wasn't some slow, gradual growth. This was a relentless, all-out push to fundamentally change the country's energy landscape.
So what does all this new green power actually look like? Well, you can see right here. Solar is the undisputed champion. It now makes up nearly half of all the renewable capacity and has been the massive engine driving all these new additions.
And this incredible expansion, it's completely reshuffled the global deck. India has officially overtaken Germany to become the world's third largest generator of electricity from solar and wind. Now it's trailing only China and the United States. It's just a testament to the sheer scale of this transformation.
But this story isn't just about megawatts and gigawatts. It's about people. In factories like a Tata Power solar facility in Tamil Nadu, you've got an all-women workforce building the very components for this green future. For so many of them, these jobs mean autonomy, dignity, and the freedom to save for their education or support their families. Okay, so generating all this new power is one huge part of the equation. But how in the world do you reliably deliver it to 1.4 billion people? Well, the answer lies in the unsung hero of this story, the national power grid. The difference between then and now is it's night and day. Back around 2014, the grid was still dealing with shortages of over 4%, and rural areas were lucky to get power for barely half the day. Fast forward to today, India has the world's largest unified grid. Shortages have been slashed to a tiny 0.1%, and rural power is on for nearly 22 hours a day. It's incredible. And the proof of this newfound resilience came in May of 2024. A massive heat wave swept the country, and power demand spiked to an unprecedented all-time high of 250 gigawatts. And the grid, it handled it. No unscheduled outages. That's a scenario that would have been absolutely unthinkable just a decade ago.
So how is this even possible? Well, it's this amazing combination of high-tech and logistical genius. The grid is monitored in near real time, literally every 2 minutes. Advanced computer simulations forecast demand a week ahead based on weather. And get this, maintenance for power plants is scheduled a full year in advance to make sure there are no surprises.
But like with any grand transformation story, the reality is a bit more nuanced. Building all this renewable capacity has revealed a new, really complex challenge that India, and frankly, the whole world, has to solve to get to a truly green future.
This gets right to the heart of the matter. If nearly half of India's power capacity comes from non-fossil sources like solar, wind, hydro, and nuclear, why is the actual electricity generated from them so much lower? What's going on here?
Well, the answer is a crucial concept called base load power.
Think of it as the steady 24/7 power that a modern economy absolutely needs to function. Sources like coal and nuclear, they provide this reliable base. But solar and wind, as amazing as they are intermittent. They only work when the sun is shining or the wind is blowing.
And this table just lays out that gap in stark terms. You see, non-fossil fuels have a huge share of the installed capacity, but fossil fuels are still doing the vast majority of the heavy lifting when it comes to actual generation. So here's the key takeaway. Closing this gap is the single biggest challenge in decarbonizing the power sector.
So the big question is, how is India planning to tackle this baseload challenge? Well, the country has laid out some of the most ambitious energy goals on the entire planet.
The roadmap is crystal clear and, frankly, audacious. By 2030, the goal is a staggering 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity. By 2047, a massive scale-up to 100 gigawatts of nuclear power. And it's all leading to a target of net zero emissions by 2070. So how do you make those intermittent renewables more reliable? One key solution is something called the water battery. These projects act like giant natural batteries. When there's a ton of excess solar power, you use it to pump water uphill. Then, when demand is high, you just release the water back down through turbines to generate electricity. India is planning a more than 10-fold increase in this capacity by 2032.
And to hit that incredible 100 gigawatt nuclear target, the strategy has to be multifaceted, right? It means reforming laws to allow private investment, speeding up approvals, building reactors at home under the Make in India initiative, and training a whole new generation of nuclear experts.
And this all brings us to the final crucial question. India's journey is about so much more than just keeping the lights on for its own citizens. As the world's most populous country and fastest-growing major economy, the path it chooses is going to have profound consequences for global energy markets and for our shared climate future. The revolution is underway, and believe me, the whole world is watching.